So 3 days has passed since the 1010 Robotaxi event, the unveil of the Cybercab and the Robovan, and then the Optimus, and I had some time to sit down and get my final thoughts. And although if you guys are watching my live stream, there was that one more thing that I was hoping for them to at least tease us with. I'll get to that later on in the video, but I must say it was one heck of an event, and as a long-term investor, someone who's going all into Tesla stock because of this Robotaxi and full self-driving, things are shaping up. Yeah, it won't happen probably end of this decade or near end of this decade. Fine. But it's shaping up. We have a dedicated Robotaxi now. A dedicated vehicle for Robotaxi now with no pedals and steering wheel. Something that 10 years ago, 5 years ago was something out of a sci-fi movie. Now everyone is saying it's replicating flippant robots. Speaking of that, Optimus, I think, took the show away afterwards. After watching some videos of what it can do, yes, it was it was remotely controlled and stuff like that, fine. But the fact that it can do these things. Anyways, we'll get to that step by step, bit by bit. My final thoughts for the Cybercab, Robovan, Optimus, and what it all means now for Tesla. Smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and let's go. So let's talk about the Cybercab. First things first, it's a very attractive and super clean design. It's such a beautiful design, such a nice car. I wish they made this car with a pedal and steering wheel. I will put a down payment right now. Even though I'm in Kuwait, I can't really get it. But I will do something. I don't know. I want it. I want that car. But we know that's not going to happen. We do know affordable vehicles are coming though, because if we look at this chart right here, there's 3 vehicles that's been covered up. One was the van and one was the Cybercab. There's one more left. And that's the affordable vehicles coming in the next 6 months. So, but let's see how that'll look like. Maybe it's similar, maybe it's not. I don't know. We'll see how that is going to look like. But man, the Cybercab, it's super sexy and well done. It's pretty much a sedan version of the Cybertruck, which makes sense why they call it the Cybercab. But man, it's such a beautiful car. But here's the thing. After watching this for some time, this is not a concept car, guys. It's not a concept car. They made 20 of these. 20 on Robotaxi Day. So this tells me that this is not a concept car. Like they made 20. It's ready for a small production. Not on mass scale yet. That's that's probably gonna be in 2026. But they made 20. You don't make 20 of the same concept car if it's a concept car. So this tells me that this vehicle is ready to go. We just have to deploy it and get ready, cut the red tape and full self-driving. I think that's what they're waiting for. But this is not a concept car. I mean, I have to stress this. This is not a concept car, man. It is a sheesh moment. The cool thing about this car, guys, is that this thing has no handles, has no, plug-in port, has nothing. It's just the metal on wheels. That's it. Just, get in the car and then you go. That's it. The main purpose of this vehicle is to take you from point A to point B without driving, while being 70% cheaper than a flippin' bus. That's insane, because Elon did say this will be like 20 cents per mile compared to a bus, which is $1 per mile. With taxes and all, whatever, is like 30, 40 cents. 60 to 70% cheaper, guys. That's ridiculous. And you have your own private flippant vehicle. You can do your work, you can sleep, you can watch Netflix, do whatever the heck you want. Now, if we compare this to Waymo, I mean, you can't. You can't. I mean, just look at this meme. It's not even a meme, it's facts. Like, you can't, the thing's $180,000, you can't own one, and it's expensive compared to a Cybercab where you can own one. It's like less than $30,000, and it's so much cheaper than a Waymo. Man, once these Robotaxis are deployed where Waymo is, I don't know how they can stay afloat with them, with the competitiveness that Tesla's going to bring to the table. I don't even know. And even look at these pictures. I mean, why would you want to drive in a car that has all these things on top? Look at all those cameras and LiDAR compared to a nice, sexy Cybercab, man. That it's just like, it's not even comparable at this point. And you know what else is a sheesh moment? Man, I was thinking about it the other day. It sounds too good to be true, but it seems we're heading down this path. So eventually, in a generation time from now, let's say 10, 20, 30 years from now, you don't need to drive anymore. We're going to be having a generation that doesn't need to get licenses anymore. I'll get to that more in depth in a bit, but you can have the Cybercab because you can, purchase it and you can have it in your driveway. Once you have this, well, that means you don't have to drive anymore, so you don't need any other vehicles. Unless you have a family of like 3, 4, 5, 6, then understood. But for me, I don't need any other vehicles. I can just have this in my driveway, hop in it, go to work. Once it drops me off work, tell the Cybercab to go to work, go, do the Robotaxi stuff, make me money. And then when I'm done work, come pick me up, drop me at home, and go back to work. It's literally a money printer. Man, as soon as this thing becomes available, I'm going to put like an order of 1 or 2 or 3. Man, this is exciting. Overall, man, the Cybercab is absolutely, I don't know, I love the design. It was amazing. Now, here's the thing. The message is very clear. After seeing the Cybercab, the message is extremely clear. The future of Tesla is FSD and robotaxis. Forget about robotics right now. We'll get to that in a bit. But this tells you that Tesla is a tech company. Here's how they're planning to do it. For the most part, they are outsourcing the fleet to us. So they don't have to manage it. Because I can only imagine how much of a headache it would be to manage a whole fleet of robotaxis when your main goal is just to be a software company later and a robotics company later on. I know, right? We're Tesla, the car company, not sound like a car company anymore, right? But they're essentially what they're doing is they're saying that, hey, you guys manage the whole thing. We'll sell the car to you. We'll profit from it. We'll sell you the subscription, so we'll make money from that as well. And we'll also be getting network per mile, cost per mile. Because there will be a fee that will need to be charged, and this will go to Tesla. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to jump back a bit, but I have to mention before I forget about it. I think Tesla will take 20 or 30% fleet for themselves. I think they will take around that for themselves so they can first test it out and see how it is, and for them to be in control for some time. But for majority of the places, 80% of the time, 70% of the time, it's people like you and me who's going to be managing it. And for Tesla investors, this is crazy because, again, as I mentioned earlier before, that Tesla will sell you the car. They'll make a profit. They'll sell you the full self-driving subscription. They'll make a lot of profit. They'll take the cost per mile as well, which is, when you scale it out, it's a lot of the money. And the other revenue is through advertisements. You know how Google is. When you go on Google, it's like sponsored. Tesla can do that with their navigation. Like when you're arriving at a location, it'll recommend you to go to this restaurant or go to this store. Or even if services decided to come in the vehicle, just like how Apple charges them, Tesla can charge them as well to be part of the Tesla app. Man, the amount of money that these guys are going to be creating is absolutely insane. It's going to be and this is not only going to be just the Cybercab. This is going to be for the entire fleet. Almost 7 million vehicles Tesla has on the road. Wow, the amount of money that Tesla will be generating is going to be nuts. Nobody is ready, and nobody is seeing this. This is why I'm going all in this company, man. It's absolutely insane. Now, that's my thoughts for the Cybertruck and, the message of what Tesla is saying. Let's talk about the Robovan, or the Robovan, if I'm not mistaken, if that's how you say it. This one, I was expecting it, but it is a little weird. It looks like the future, but I don't know. It does look a little bit weird. But nonetheless, the concept here is that to disrupt public buses, because they can fit up to 20 people in this Robovan, which can bring down the cost per mile to 5 cents. Compared to $1 per mile with public buses. Oh my God. You're pretty much, if you get in this vehicle, you're pretty much traveling for free. It's insane. Now, unlike the Robotaxi, the Cybercab, I think that this Robovan or Robovan is a prototype. After all, they only made one, right? It's not like the Cybercab, you saw 20 of them. There was only one of them. And I think they have a lot more work with it to make it more compatible, to make it more realistic. And here's the thing, we didn't see them test drive in it. Nobody got a test drive in the Robovan. It was all the Cybercab, which again, that tells me this Robovan is 100% a concept car or concept van at the moment, 100%. Now for the Cybercab, we got on when they're going to release it or go to mass production, but we didn't get that with the Robovan, and I'm not too sure how they're going to scale this or how fast they're going to scale this and when we're going to see them on the roads. I asked you guys on X. If you guys aren't following me on X, I don't know what you guys are doing, but there were some answers here and there. Some were saying that so far in the future, the 2030s, some were saying the same time of Cybercab. Most are saying that right after the Cybercab by 2029, 2030. And I do see this being more of a 2029, 2030, 2031 kind of thing because, man, this thing is big. I don't know. I mean, I think the concept is going to be the same as the Cybercab, that you can buy it as well. But if you have a house, where are you going to park this thing? This thing's huge, which is why I think that it'll be available for anybody to buy, including commercial buses, like governments or whoever are controlling those companies. They can buy it and replace them with buses. I think this could be an idea. And I think that's where the route is going, because people like you and me, I mean, this thing's probably going to cost over $100,000, $150,000. Why would I do that when I can just get like 5 of these Cybercabs? You know what I mean? And I can make a lot more money. But with this Robovan, I think it's going to be more of a commercial bus kind of thing. So I'm not too sure how people are going to buy this car or buy this van and put it in a driveway that they can't fit. I don't know. But the idea of this is to disrupt buses, public transit, public buses. That's the idea. Now, the interesting part is that Elon mentioned that if you have more than 2 people, you can ride the Robovan. Therefore, telling me, meaning that it won't be operated like public buses or commercial, unless public bus company buses, as I mentioned earlier, actually buys them and puts them on the road. So I don't know what the idea here is, but it looks like Tesla has, they know what they're doing. Can't bet against them. They know what they're doing. But in my point of view, as my final thought with this, Robovan, I don't know. There's a lot more questions than answers, in my opinion, here. That's my thoughts for the Robovan, and I'm curious to know about your thoughts with the Cybercab, and the Robovan. The comments below, let me know. Now, smash that like button, because now we're going to talk about the Holy Grail here, which is something that was very impressive. Whether it was, well, we do know that it was teleoperated, right? But this was mind-blowing, and this tells you the future of Tesla, which is why it's such a good long-term investment if you guys are in it for the long term. The Tesla bot. This was showcased. This thing was serving drinks, dancing, talking to the crowds. Again, although this was all teleoperated and controlled by somebody else, it's still very impressive that it can do those functions. And one day for it not to be teleoperated. It's crazy that it can do moves like that. It can move around like a human, talk like a human. And hey, these things will get trained on this thing. Like, this may take another few years, 4 years, 5 years, fine. But this thing can be the way it was. This was a showcase. We will look back 10 years from now and look at this day and go like, that was teleoperated compared to what it is now. Man, it's going to be an insane future with these robots. It's going to be insane. And the fact that just 3 years ago, this bot was nothing. It was like that character, Now it's walking and doing all these things, which is insane. What's going to happen in another 3 years' time? If they keep at this pace, it does look like the bot can be somewhat mass-produced in 2026. And I know it's a sheesh moment, and I know Elon did say that, and maybe that's Generation 3, Gen 3, I'm not too sure. But my God, in 3 years' time, this thing can do that. It can walk on its own, it can serve drink, it can do all this. Whether it was teleoperated, but it can do these functions. It's insane. This shows how serious Tesla is moving forward with robotics. They are not playing around, and they're going full force on this thing. And they're not kidding. By 2030, having over 100,000 bots, maybe even more, like millions. I don't even know, because making a bot is so much easier than making a car. Mass producing these bots, and I'm pretty sure the bots are going to mass produce these bots, building the machine, it's going to be absolutely insane. If you're an analyst, you may have to start adding these things into your analysis, because it's looking very serious. Now, this all comes down what it now means for Tesla, what all this means. Tesla has started this new book, whether you like it or not. They have started it, they have opened it, and they've started writing it. This means that Tesla has completely shifted from cars, building cars, to FSD, Robotaxi, software, and robotics. Now, this doesn't mean that they're going to stop building cars. In fact, they need the cars, out there so they can sell the software and the Robotaxi, all that kind of stuff, which that brings 60 to 80% plus margins. But the idea of Tesla hitting 20 million vehicles by 2030, and if you guys have been watching me since 2020, I've been telling you guys that that's not a realistic number by 2030. Tesla delivering 20 million vehicles, even producing 20 million vehicles. Maybe mid-2035, 2033 at the earliest, as I have in my own valuation if you guys check my Patreon. And that's majority of the Cybercab. Now looking at it, the only way Tesla that I see hitting 20 million vehicles by mid-2035 or by mid-2030s is that everybody stops buying vehicles and they buy these robotaxis. And it's majority of these robotaxis on the road. And all you see is robotaxis left, right, and center, Robovans and Model 3s, Model Ys just, driving themselves. That's all. That's all you see. And it's because of that it scales up. Not because people don't want to buy cars. Well, people don't want to buy cars anymore. It's because people prefer to go robotaxis because it's just so much cheaper. And then you got supply and demand. If the demand of that goes up, you need supply to fulfill it. And if people are going to stop buying cars and driving themselves and pick robotaxis over it, my God, the demand of this is going to be not just in the 20 millions, probably in the 30, 40, 50 millions. Now, of course, the only way that Tesla can go beyond this 20 million, 30 million mark of vehicles is if everyone stops buying cars completely and is buying Teslas, which I don't think that's going to be the case. I do think Tesla's gonna license this technology out, and I'm sure other players will have something similar. Not as scalable as this and good as this, but I'm sure other players will have it as well, that other companies will license as well. So I can see the Audis, like how iRobot enables autonomous driving, that could be Tesla's FSD license, Tesla licensing out to so many other brands. So they can at least exist, right? So that's how I see it. And the crazy part is that the next generations, and I mentioned this earlier, is that your kids, maybe your kids' kids, depending how old you are, probably doesn't need to have a driver's license anymore. They can still get it if they want to still drive here and there. I'm sure there will be vehicles that you could still drive. But the path we are taking, it looks like driver's license will become a meaningless thing because you don't need to drive anymore. It's insane. What it means for Tesla in the future, it's insane. It's crazy. And what's crazy is that you'll be crazy if you don't add the FSD, the Robotaxi, the software margins like the Optimus into your valuations, because Tesla is very serious about this. Right now, if you're a Tesla investor, you're no longer invested for the cars. That's just going to be something that's going to be the hardware for the actual thing, which is the software. And then you got we even talked about energy here. Then you got robotics and all these other things that's going to dwarf this entire vehicle line. Tesla's very serious. And if you are not adding these in the valuations, and I have in my Patreon, you guys can check over here, then you guys are going to be very disappointed because you're always going to be looking at delivery numbers. Now, I do cover it in this channel because it's fun, but every time when they sell a vehicle, it's an opportunity for them to sell full self-driving, and then it's an opportunity for them to enable Robotaxi onto that vehicle. That's how I see it. So sheesh, that's my final thoughts. That's what it means for Tesla. Let me know what your thoughts are and what do you think it means. Are you bearish? Are you bullish? I am more bullish than ever. What I saw was exactly what I was expecting. I was expecting the one more thing, but I think we'll get that in the Q3 earnings call. Glimpse of the affordable vehicle, but we do know it's coming. For sure. Now, as a Tesla investor, you guys witnessed it was an 8%, 9% drop on Friday. Here's the reason why it dropped and what to do about it. It's because, you guys know where I stand, but if you want to know what I'm doing, check out that video. Subscribe, guys. Get your I Bought the Dip t-shirt or your sheesh short, because it was a sheesh moment, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.